Bleak, what's a code I can use? Oh, there we go. Finally, Lucas. There we go. Saved me. Okay, guys, Mr. Brazil Nut has sent a code here. Finally. What an abomination of a map. Okay, 4NDU. Okay, I'm gonna jump in here. Let's see if it works. Oh, okay. Okay, here we go. I dig it. Okay, nice.
Girth
Oh, look at Girth trying to come in here. Nope. No Girths allowed. Just kidding, of course. We can't let Girth come in. We can do a 3 versus 1 against Girth. I like this map. Yeah. Okay, here we go.
Hello once again, audience. My name is Lucas the Brazilian Dude. We're back at it once again, playing some War of Dots. It's been a while since I've uploaded any content related to War of Dots. I've just been busy. But I do want to play some more. There is the time to do so. Now let's talk about this game. This is the second time I've tried to record this. The first time I accidentally recorded the screen audio as well, so it wouldn't be good to use it for the video. So I just decided to reuse it. The second thing is that I've been super busy with work, just doing work, managing stuff. And the third is just family related things that I've been taking care of. Well, anyways, let's get started with this game. I've been trying to this map is one of the first maps that I created whenever the game released the multiple maps feature. Before then, you could only have, I believe, 3 maps. And so whenever that feature was added, I decided to go ham on creating maps. And this was one of the firsts. I'd never actually played with real people, so this was the first ever game played against real people. And it was with Mr. Bunal Gaming in blue, John the Bun in purple, Universal 05 in orange. I began with a full frontal assault on Universal 05, trying to capture that city, and as you will see, that northern city will be the location of all battles, at least against Universal 05 for the next however long it takes. But as you can see, Mr. Bunal just took one of my cities down in the south. I am getting pushed back slowly but steadily, and I need to get encirclements wherever I can. I'm pushing back weak troops from the front after probing and letting them heal. And I'm also trying to get cheeky encirclements wherever I can. Universal 05 is starting to push me across the river on the center into the city. I have very weak troops defending that city, and so I decide to focus my attention on it, as there is a very weak troop, and I try to threaten an encirclement. That he responds to, backs off from the city, and pulls away. But as you can see, I have a very weak troop in the center of it all, and he just gets absolutely demolished in a 3v1. Bam. And going back to the north, well, I just try my best to withhold the health as well as morale from my troops. I'm not doing a very good job with the rotation of these troops, but it's for the abiding for time. I need to send more people out to the front in order to wait for the production of more lights, and I change them to lights because I need I need cheap, reliable source of infantry, as I am 100,000 troops behind Mr. Bunel Gaming, and he is only attacking me from a very small front. Mr. Universal 05 is also pretty far ahead of me.
Did we get it? We got the city? Nice. We took a city from the Brazilian dude. The Brazilian nut. Mr. Macadamia.
You know, I am not Greek. I believe macadamia is Greek. One of my favorite nuts is actually not for the nut itself, the cashew. I don't know if you know this, but the cashew comes from a fruit. And I actually used to have a cashew tree in my home back in Brazil. And let me tell you, they taste absolutely amazing. They are tangy, kind of like a pineapple. They have that, that the fruit has that chemical where it feels like there's spines in your mouth whenever you're eating them, but it's the good kind, you know, the sweet, savory. Um, it's really unique, and I would highly recommend people who have the opportunity to try fresh cashews to give them a try. As you can see, I get a fully health unit encircled, and I try to go and unencircle them with some tanks. Mr. Bunel did manage to get it, but I did manage to at least unencircle him for a little bit. Anyways, these I had I had a whole bunch of other fruit trees in my backyard, and because I used to have it, back then I tried to replicate it the same way here. I've been trying to grow a couple of fruit trees and grapevines and whatnots in my current yard.
Brazilian dude with a naval invasion of his own? I don't think so, partner.
As you can see, I was trying to set up a naval invasion into the city to threaten him to move back, but all that did was allow me to have some movement to move my infantry forward. So I take this opportunity and move them all into their position. I do get my center army encircled briefly. A couple of troops perish in the meantime, but I am pushing forward with Mr. Bunel's front. I should be moving units a lot better, but I'm not. One of Mr. Bunel's southern cities could have been taken there if I moved a little quicker, but I did not. I, in fact, got myself encircled. I tried to do the same thing that just worked on him once more to see if it would happen again, but it seems like he is a little more reactive and has troops set up there. I see that it worked on Mr. Bunel, and I tried to do the same thing on Universal, but I used troops with very, very low health. And as you can see in the very leftmost part, one of my troops is drowning in the water, and I just let him drown. I don't do anything about it. And that is one of the things that I need to work better on. Well, I just moved him. It's to manage my troops and make them not drown in the water. This match has shown that I'm very rusty when it comes to that skill. I tried to snipe one of his other cities, but as you can see, it's defended by a very healthy tank. My troops are starting to perish, and so I decided to send a message to Mr. Bunel, telling him I want a truce, and I began moving my troops back from the front line in order to give myself and himself some breathing room and let me focus on Universal 05 and defend my triple cities. Universal did capture that city across the lake, so I need to do whatever I can to stop him from pushing to the triple cities. As you can see, Universal is also pushing into John the Button, into John's other triple cities. And I believe he's having a pretty difficult time doing so. But Universal does manage to capture one of his cities. And I am doing the Soviet method of just sending bodies to the front line on the northern front, because those 3 cities can't heal any units. And so they are as practically useless as empty. And I want to spawn in fresh units on them in order to get more troops. I use the cities that can be healed, that can heal troops, in order to heal them. I only have 2 units holding off the entire line up north. But Universal's inactivity on that front let me have a little bit more time in order to put up more troops to defend that position. I set up more troops in the back of that line in order to defend that spot. I try to move back the troops that need healing, and push in the troops that are healthy into the front line.
My current plan is to do nothing. My current plan is to sit here and try and build my army back up a little bit.
And that is a very good plan, because doing nothing will allow you to get more troops. And as you can see, Mr. Bunal has almost 100,000 more troops than I do, because I have not stopped fighting Universal 05. And I did manage to capture that city back, because Universal did walk his troops off of that city, I suppose, to defend from the attack against John the Bun. Universal still pushing into my territory, trying to capture my cities. He's at the very cusp of it, but because I keep putting new bodies in the front line and keep pushing out the injured troops, keep the morale at least relatively fresh, I'm able to get more units to fill in those gaps that once were so great. At this point, I begin actually gaining troops. I'm producing tanks because I want to be able to stop my opponents. Lights are good whenever my units are all dying, but since I do have a very sustainable amount of lights produced, I will switch my production over to tanks. As I can see, Mr. Bunal starting to line up a bunch of his troops on my border, and I get a little anxious because he does have a significant troop advantage. He has double the troops that I have, but he's still not fighting anyone. He's building up his troops, but not healing.
I do like this map, but this is a pretty good one, I think. Even though I lost my first city down here.
Well, you win some, you lose some. That city was meant to be fought over, and it just like the city up north is. It's just John the Bun pushed everything into it. From what I could see, he pushed all his heavies and captured your city straight from under your toes. I'm very grateful that we're not currently fighting, because I do not have the troops to defend from the northern attack and your attack at the same time. As you can see, Universal's northern troops are crumbling. I am about 30,000 troops from his troop count. John the Bun recaptured one of the triple cities, that Universal had captured, and I believe Universal is starting to slowly crumble. Universal offers me a truce, but I won't accept it. I need to keep fighting and defending my cities from his taking. If he captures those triple cities, I am toast. I will have basically no economy. I will lose. I need to defend those triple cities from him, so I ignore his message. And of course, me being me, I put another super healthy troop on the water at the very left by Mr. Bunel's front, and I began pushing slowly, probing his front lines. And so I sneak around his formation. I see that he has a cracked tank on the city, and I have a healthy, high morale unit. And I see if I can push his tanks off the city. He sends a couple extra tanks over there, but I try to cycle my units as best as I can. My unit being 3v1 gets taken out, but that shows me how weak the troops are defending that city is. And so I decide, hey, I'm going to see if I can send a couple of relatively healthy troops up there north into the front, rotate them in and out, and see if I can capture that city by force. I can see that he's starting to pull back, maybe trying to rotate, but I'm not going to let him take an inch back from what he walks. I'm trying to rotate some other troops from his other front because he's just not looking very healthy. Accidentally walk a tank into the water. And from that water, I decide I'm going to try to attempt a naval invasion once again. It almost worked once. Why wouldn't this almost work again? If only this tank had more health, I could have done something out of this, but as you can see, the low health of this unit did not help this circumstance. I try to prevent that unit from attritioning to death by pushing out a unit. This whole time, Mr. Bunel has been 2v1ing one of my tanks that's been right in front of a river, stuck by a mountainside. And I do not see it because I have been so busy focusing on my northern front. As soon as I see he 3v1s it, I take action, but it's too late entirely, and that unit is gone. I rotate some troops from the front line. I see his troops are still pretty fresh, and I begin rotating the healthy troops. The almost dead troops get pushed back, the healthy troops go forward. And the cycle continues. A slow border clash slowly begins into a full frontal assault against Mr. Bunel. As he begins 3v1ing one of my tanks that's in the river, I get closer and closer to Universal 05 cities. As you can see, John the Bun has pushed and cut off the land access into Universal City. I think I was going to send a banter or a response to Mr. Bunel, but I decide not to. What I do next is attempt to capture Universal City. That's what I do this entire game. I keep on pushing, bashing my soldiers' heads against the wall until something happens. And that something is Mr. Bunel launches a surprise invasion against my cities. He threatens to take my capital, and so I have to focus my attention once more down south. Universal is decidedly the weakest at 100,000 troops spread in between three fronts. He is currently going up against Mr. Bunel, me, and John the Bun, as John just took one of his cities and circled one of his units. Meanwhile, I'm trying my best to push Mr. Bunel back. I see that Mr. Bunel has a weak infantry unit on one of his cities, and then I see if I can push him right out to get an encirclement. This slowly builds up into what I can only describe as the funniest simultaneous capture of two cities that I've had. And as you can see, I keep pushing on the north as well as Mr. Bunel's other front.
Oh no, there's a city. Brazilian nut job.
I am very stable, thank you very much. I am not a nut job, but as you can see, I almost walked my troop off of one of the cities they freshly captured, and I could have gotten those two tanks encircled. I keep on defending that city and those two units because they are very important. I need to prevent Mr. Bunel from pushing into my territory. I need to make him focus on recapturing his own land instead of supplying his war machine. Because as you can see, my frontline infantry and tank units in Mr. Bunel's front are starting to perish, and I'm not doing very well against him. But as you can also see in Universal's front, I also push him out of that city and finally move onto the next city. But at this point, I'm starting to have a border dispute with John the Bun, who has 450,000 troops at this point of just purely attacking Universal 05 after taking over Mr. Bunel's one island and naval invading here and there. He's been able to build up a vast number of troops, and with those troops, he can just endlessly cycle here and there and everywhere until all other troops are dead. Combined, he has more troops than all three of us, which means he's the winner. There's just no way to defend against this many people, this many troops coming at you. We can try as much as we can try. I don't think there's anything we could do but slow him down, and so that's what we do. So I push my frontline infantry into Mr. Bunel because we need to stop fighting each other, but he won't stop fighting me unless I show him who's the boss. And who's the boss? The bossman's the boss. And so I keep on pushing Mr. Bunel while also getting pushed by John the Bun. I get kicked out of the central island. I try to send a message telling him to attack John the Bun, but I send the wrong color, and so I send him another message. John the Bun managed to capture one of Mr. Bunel's cities, and that is kind of unfortunate because I wanted to capture them as well, and so I moved down south to see if I can capture that capital city of his. But that makes Mr. Bunel panic, moving the troop back. Well, I guess that troop perished. My troop perished. I did not commit fully. I decide to slow him down on the northern front, as that's where the vast majority of his tanks were. And I put a tank in a city, and I just immediately walk right out. That's another Lucas the Brazilian dude special, and so I decide to march that infantry troop to death. Then from here, with my troops at a very, very low health point, I decided that, well, most I can do is just see and wait if Mr. Buell can hold him back while I push on the north. I try to sneak a troop around Universal's capital city, but I wasn't successful with that. And so, one of the things I decided to do is see if I can recapture one of Mr. Buell's city that he lost to Universal. So I'm not attacking Mr. Buell himself, but I am capturing one of his core cities. And I do manage to capture it. But can I hold it? That's a different story. Well, to capture it, I still haven't. We're being smushed in between two sides currently. As you can see on the northern section, I have very, very, very weak troops defending against fairly healthy tanks. The city that I first lost to Mr. Buell is very weakly defended, and I believe Universal is just about to capture it. Well, nope, Mr. Buell actually pumped out a troop beforehand. But with the northern front collapsing, all I can do slow him down. I have a quarter of the troops as John the Bun. Mr. Buell only has about an eighth of the troops. And it's just not nice.
It's about over. At least my cities are getting split up a little bit here. John's taking a couple cities. Looks like Mr. Lucas Brazil dude's gonna take some cities.
I mean, I tried to take a couple of your cities, but you had to make it a little difficult for me. I will get you one question.
There are rumors that the Brazilian dude is actually the Joker, not the Joker, the Riddler. We've heard rumors that he's actually the Riddler. Riddle me this. That's my city, and I'm taking it back.
I am the Riddler. Well, relatively speaking, my font looks like it. I went to mechanical engineering school, and so in order to be able to read my own handwriting, I had to change my font, and I created a question mark that looks suspiciously like the Riddler, as Mr. Buell pointed out. But as you can see on the northern front, my troops are melting like butter, like they are out in the sunlight. There is nothing stopping them except for a couple of dudes with some rifles. Universal managed to snag his capital city back, and he's pumping out some troops and building up his numbers. He's got half the troops I do in that tiny little island. Mr. Buell, he's putting up one last fight against John and me. I can't leave my front line empty, so I am fighting John the Bun with half my troops, and so is Mr. Buell Gaming. So we're giving John the game because John has tanks. He has a horde of T T-34s all coming at you. Mass produce light tanks. I guess medium. We're going to be technical. Try to see if I can do a sneaky walk around the city and capture Mr. Bunal's city, but he actually does a sneaky walk around my city and captures my city. But in fact, he did leave his city empty, and so my tactic of sneaking around and capturing his city actually worked out. And I'm going to try to make sure that I actually keep that troop in that city right there and not just walk out. Oh, did the bug again where it goes to the north. And whenever I moved him back to his location, I did not place him directly in the city, which is
But bro, he
a
just
little
completely
unfortunate.
biffed it. He completely left them all open and let me just retake everything. Oh, that's what we call a John the Bun fumble. John the Bun fumbled it. We should call him John the Fumbler.
John the Fumbler? Well, I don't think he's going to fumble the game, though. See, I try to encircle one of his troops, but I keep bashing my head up against it instead of just letting the troops encircle them, and he dies. And then with the other city that I captured from Mr. Bunal, well, my troop is very lightly protected, and unfortunately, well, fortunate for me, I managed to take out John the Bun's troop. With this, I try to call it a good game because I see the writing on the wall. I have the least amount of troops, so it's just a steamroll from here. Those triple cities on the northern front have withstood the most amount of punishment from John the Bun, and well, from before Universal.
I'm wondering if I can knock Brazilian dude off his capital. He may have given up though. John did make a big mistake. He took over all this stuff and then he just abandoned it almost immediately.
See, I haven't given up yet. I'm still fighting to the bitter end, but I do leave my city and do a strategic retreat in order to see if I could pull off something sneaky. And I don't know if this is a new feature or not, but with about 1,400 points in the bank, I thought that I could, well, see if I could pump out a couple of heavy tanks. But I do not have my production set to heavies. I still have them set to light. And what that means is that whenever I move my troops out of the city, I thought this wouldn't work. I just tried it out to see if it would or not. I do produce one heavy. And so I think to myself, well, if I can produce troops, I'm going to. I produce a light there, and I try to produce heavy, but I produce another light before I get that heavy. And so whenever I move that troop out of the city, I produce another heavy. I get the lights to go in the water to see if I can get more funds. And I start to begin a defensive line. But I move the tank out of the city too quick and it dies. So unfortunately, I built a tank and it immediately died. And so then I sent my boats out into their farewell voyage. I move at the perfect time because Mr. Bunal was actually retreating from those cities, and he actually was just in time. I made it there just in time to recapture my capital city away from John the Bun. And I tried desperately to connect the cities together in order to make them produce at least one more heavy unit, which I do. But as you can see, shortly, in a couple seconds, the game glitches whenever I do lose my capital city once more, which is pretty unfortunate because I was wanting to see if I could keep going a little more. And with the last little bit of health that it loses, the game ends. At least for me. Mr. Bunal's still going.
Bruh. John the Bun. More like John leave all his cities undefended. Let's see how far we can make this go. Can I snag that one? Oh, come on, I can't snag that one. Shizzle. Look at that, I made myself a little enclave here. Okay, I'm done. That's it. Good job, John. First time here in stream. Good game there.
Well, thank you everyone for watching. That was a really fun game to play against Mr. Bunal Gaming, John the Bun, Universal 05. If anyone wishes to join us on these games that we play with each other on Sundays on Mr. Bunal's stream, he said he might not do it this week, but I will still advertise it nonetheless. Sundays afternoon, around that time or so, we generally join the server and play some maps, some custom maps that the community makes. So yeah, thank you everyone for watching. I hope you have a wonderful time. Until next time, my name is Lucas the Brazilian Dude. Thank you for watching.